Have you ever visited a museum? This is the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. It's a museum in Memphis, Tennessee. Inside, we have art from all over the world. We have lots of different types of art, and the art is always changing. We put together several exhibitions or art shows every year, so every time you go visit the Dixon, you're going to see something new. But outside is just as special as the galleries inside. We have 17 acres of gardens. They're full of plants, flowers, trees, and many living things. At the Dixon, we have a whole team of people who look after the gardens and keep them beautiful. That might sound like a simple task, but there's a lot that goes into it. They have to make sure that the plants are getting enough water and sun, that they're planted in the right type of soil, that they're free from diseases and illnesses that could spread to the other plants. They know exactly what time of year to plant the seeds, and they work hard to make sure that things are blooming all year long. Even in the winter, we can grow plants in our greenhouses. Some of the flowers stay in the gardens, some are used for flower arrangements, and others are sold at plant sales. And we have lots of unusual plants and flowers that take a lot of attention. The Dixon is famous for its tulips. We plant thousands and thousands of tulip bulbs every year for people to enjoy in the spring. Today, we're going to learn a little bit more about the Dixon's gardens, and we're going to make an art activity that is inspired by these beautiful gardens at the museum. We don't just rely on plants and flowers to keep our gardens looking beautiful. We use rocks too. Rocks are great to have in the gardens for a lot of reasons. First, they keep out harmful weeds. Those weeds might use the nutrients or the space that a flower needs to grow, and so rocks prevent them from growing in. Rocks also don't need water, so they use less resources. They come in a variety of sizes and colors, so they can add beauty to the gardens while still being environmentally friendly. They're a great thing to add to gardens in extreme conditions, such as desert climates. So let's talk about a very special type of rock, which is our inspiration for art making today: geodes. Geodes look like ordinary rocks on the outside, but on the inside they're hollow and filled with crystals. These crystals come from minerals. So how are geodes formed? They're usually formed in two ways. The first is by a volcanic eruption. As the lava from an eruption cools down and hardens into rock, gases can still be trapped inside, which make holes inside the rock. The minerals can form and crystallize there. Geodes can also be formed inside sedimentary rocks. Over millions of years, these rocks may have spaces left behind by organic materials, animal burrows, or mud deposits. Over time, groundwater flows in and out and leaves behind minerals that turn into crystals. Geodes take thousands or sometimes even millions of years to form. Geodes can come in a lot of colors. The minerals that are left behind in the geode determines its color. For example, amethyst is purple, jasper can be yellow, red, or green, and opal is a beautiful pearl color. How do we know so much about all these geodes and how they're formed? From geologists. A geologist is a scientist who studies the earth. Who knows, maybe one day you'll grow up to be a geologist and find lots of geodes on your own. But for now, let's make our own collage with art supplies. Today we'll be using scissors, glue, lots of different papers, a pencil, some tracers, and then later some glitter glue. First, we've got lots of different types of paper. As you can see, we've got some shiny papers in all different colors. I also have a black paper for the background, a pencil, some scissors, a glue stick. Optional, you can get a permanent marker in metallic colors. And today, I'm going to be using tracers. If you don't have tracers, don't worry. These are just ovals in different sizes. They go from big to small. Later, we'll use some glitter glue as well. The first step is I'm going to choose my first layer of geode. It doesn't matter what color your paper is, but you're going to draw a really big oval that takes up most of the space. If you don't have a tracer, you can just freehand an oval and it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you are using the tracers, you're going to look for the one that has a number 1. Instead of putting this in the middle where I waste all the paper, I'm moving it to the side. That way I can reuse this paper later on, or somebody else can use it. Notice how I'm holding the shape with one hand and tracing it with the other so that the shape doesn't move around. Once you're done tracing, you're going to cut it out with your scissors. Next up, we're going to glue our largest oval down to our black paper that's our background. Put some glue all over the shape, but remember, you only have to twist your glue up a little bit. You don't need lots and lots of glue. Next, we're going to repeat that step, but if you're using the tracer, you're going to look for a number 2. If you don't have the tracers, you're just going to draw an oval that's a little bit smaller than the first one. I like to change the color of my paper so that I have lots of layers of my geode. Again, I don't want to put this in the middle. I want to make sure that I can use this paper again, so I'm going to move my tracer to the side of the page and use as little paper as possible. After you're done tracing, we're going to cut this shape out and glue it on top of our last oval. I bet you have the hang of this already. We're going to keep going, but this time we're going to be drawing a little bit of a smaller oval. If you're using the tracers, we're looking for the number 3, or you can just draw it yourself. We're going to keep repeating this step, drawing smaller and smaller ovals until we have 8 total ovals on our page. It's totally fine if you want to repeat colors that you've already used. I just try not to have the same color touching. And don't forget, every time you trace a shape, to move it to the edge of the paper. You want to try to save as much paper as you can for the next person. This next step is optional. That means it's okay if you do it and it's okay if you don't. But if you have metallic markers, you can go back and add little lines so that it looks like there are more layers in your geode. Our last step is we're going to add some glitter glue to represent the crystals in the geode. You don't need a lot, but you're going to do a line of glitter glue all around the outside edge of your geode. Squeeze firmly but not too hard, and just draw a line all the way around your biggest oval. And that's it. You can set your geode aside to dry, and then you'll have a beautiful collage to show off to your friends and family. If you enjoyed this process, you can repeat it with different colors until you have a whole rock garden to display. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll visit the Dixon soon, and as always, stay creative!